Okay, welcome. So my name is Justyna Redzikowska. My friends call me Kensik, and I have 20 plus years of experience in leading teams. What does it mean? First of all, I'm not young anymore. But second of all, I have 20 plus of experience in making mistakes. So today, I will tell you some story around some mistakes and lesson learned from those mistakes connected to the topic how to communicate metrics to build engagement. Because sometimes we are so fascinated about our numbers and we would like to make others also fascinated about numbers and make some involvement and do something with this. But sometimes it's very hard to engage people. So I made few mistakes on my way and I had some lessons learned that help me currently to do it better. So let's start the story. I will use some metaphor. So once upon a time, I wanted to run a marathon with my team. And that was my dream. But unfortunately, I realized that my team is not capable to do this. They are not even capable to walk. But I wanted to run a marathon. So it was disaster in the beginning. So how it started? As a new Scrum Master in the team, I joined to them. And as a Scrum Master, I'm responsible for the effectiveness of the team. So we should improve and improve of the data. So because we are smart. So I told them, guys, I will show you your data. What could go wrong? And it's like when your partner calls to you and say, we need to talk. What do you feel? Fascinating or anxiety? Anxiety, because you know that you did something wrong, even if you didn't. So that was the feeling, right? The team didn't want to look at any data. They didn't felt good with my proposition that I will bring some data to them. So my first mistake and first lesson learned, I need to build a trust with the team before I will show any data to them. So I prepared my cookbook. Cookbook because it's like toolbox. Some methods that are not required to use at once, but I use them through the time of life with the team. Depends on what is when needed. But always I start with the same thing, 12 rules of measurement. It came from the Management 3.0. In the link in the QR code, you have the page describes the 12 rules with the extensions description. And why it's important? Because from one side, when we create some metrics, we know that they all should have these rules. So we should own our metrics, we should seek to improve thanks to the metrics, we should sometimes try something else, so not to follow the same metrics through the next 2 years because we lose the focus. And that's obvious. Welcome, guys, come on. And why I show this to the team? Because not to show them only the context, I ask them the game changer question. I ask them which rule resonates with you the most. And thanks to that, I can learn how they were hurt before by the numbers. So I asked the team that I joined, what do you think about these rules and which one resonates with you the most? And the team told me, please don't connect metrics to rewards. Of course, all the rules are important, but for that particular team, that was the most important. So I knew that in this team, I need to pay the most attention to that thing, and I need to repeat the most importantly that we don't connect these metrics to any rewards. So it starts to building the trust that I will not use numbers against them. So this exercise with 12 rules of measurement helped me to understand the team, helped to understand their fear, and also they can understand me how I would like to use the metrics, so they see the whole picture. So then, the second very important question always to remind, because it's not that I once told team that who sees the metrics, who will have access to them. I'm repeating this plenty of times, just to build this safetyness, to make them open to work with this. And sometimes I also need to use prime directive. We have the semester when Daniel joined to the team, and Daniel had this character that always said that we are good, and anything what is wrong in our team, and you think that it's our fault, it's because of them. Them are, you know the situations, right? Always someone else is guilty. we are good, it's them. So to make this space, to have the conversation, I started each process improvement meeting or retrospective, we called it differently, from Prime Directive. There is the name, there is the statement, we truly believe that everyone did the best job they could. So I tried to repeat, and repeat to change this factor that we are not looking for guilty people, and we really believe that everyone try not to play against us, but everyone try to do the best job. If they did something what we think that it's against us, it's because of the lack of the knowledge, lack of the context, lack of something, but not because of the bad willing. So, and lately, I use the most Levin's law, which I really like, because it helps me also to put the right focus with the team. So to go out from the blaming game when we show any numbers, to focus on environment. It's Levin's law. Levin's law tells us about that if we would like to influence on behavior of people, we can influence either our person or on environment. If I will tell you that from tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., each of you needs to go to run, how many of you will do it? No one, right? Because if we believe that we can push person to do something to change behavior, it's not so possible to do. Sometimes it's happened, but we shouldn't trust that it will be the proper way. But we still in companies believe that if we tell people to do something, they will do. We should be focused on how to build environment around the people to push right behaviors. So when I talk with people around numbers with my team, I try to put the focus that we will try and we aim to change some environment. We would like to change some processes. We would like to change the system to make things better. Not people, not push anyone, but to think about changes in the environment. And it's open and it helps team to be open in the ideas and in talk, and also to connect in others and these other guilty teams before, just to find a good solutions by changing the system. So that's my cookbook to build the trust. Thanks to that, we are open to talk about data. So having that, it was the retro time. So here are the data. So the team was open. We could start talk about the data. So I showed them the throughput. So guys, this is your throughput. And I asked who would like to interpret the data. I have in the team Jarek. Jarek is iOS senior developer, and he's always eager to try something new. And I really like to have this kind of the people in the team, because they are always want to try something. And Jarek said, okay, I will try to interpret. And Jarek said, we are growing. And that's all what he said. And that's the first problem, because he didn't know what to say more. And the second, throughput that I showed them, it's not about growing. So my second mistake and second lesson learned, I need to make things easy to engage people to work with data. So how to make things easy? I prepared the workshop to them to cover 3 questions. The first, what data do we collect and why? To understand, for example, that throughput is not about growing. So we had the session and I explained them from where we take data, how we collect them and why. I started from process metrics, because as I am a Scrum Master, I'm responsible for effectiveness. So this is something starting point for me. So cycle time, throughput, to my favorite metrics. And then Pavel told me, but you have wrong data. And I thought, okay, I'm a mathematician. How can I have wrong data? What you said, Pavel. And Pavel said, because we don't update Jira. Yes. And you laugh because you know this problem too. But what happened when I explained to them from where we are taking the data and why we're taking the data and how we can use the data, the problem disappeared. Because Jira stopped being just tool for the project manager, some product owner, some management. It started to be the tool that can use and the data that can use to improve themselves. So they start looking at this differently. Of course, sometimes it happens that not all of the data are correct, but we have the system to navigate around this. But we found why they didn't update Jira before. So thanks to that, we could go to the next point. How do we read charts? So to understand and to know how to read what we see. So then Jarek again, okay, I would like to try again to interpret the data. So Jarek knew what is there, but unfortunately, he didn't blame each other because we knew that the blame is not outside of the team. He started to blame himself. But Jarek, it's not that rule here. We are not looking for blaming anyone. But I understand what was the next mistake. I didn't give them the possibility to interpret data in the proper manner because they didn't know which questions they can ask around the data. So I prepared the sample of questions. And I just pop up one just to show you the example that the questions are not about the current data. The questions are around the throughput. So people could choose the question and start discussion around this and try to learn where to put focus and how they can look at the data. So what trends or patterns do we see? What can we see about those trends or patterns, etc. So that was a very important step to help them to be involved. So give them tools. Okay, so that was the workshop. What data do we collect and why? How do we read charts and what questions should we ask? So, okay, we did some improvements based on the data because we understand we are involved. So it's been a while, so let's check the progress, right? And then, look, our senior architect told me, sorry, guy, we have more important things than working on your improvements. And my next mistake, because step 3 is make it useful, keep it useful, but not useful only for me, useful for the whole team. Obvious, but sometimes we forget in the daily rush. And first suggestion is to always have Luke in the team. So not be against people who just challenging you, but just to like with them, because it's so beneficial to have someone like Luke who always asks you and challenge you. And even if Luke is on holidays, I know that the question would come, what is the benefit for us from your proposition? Why we should do something what you propose? And I know that he is asking these questions not because he's against me. He asked these questions because he really cares about his time. And that's okay, and that's cool. So I prepared the new version of Retro, and this is small schema. So first, I asked the team, guys, what irritates you? What do you dislike? So then I can find the feelings, what is hard for them, what is tough for them. Then we write down the symptoms. Because if I ask them, what is your problem, they name the things, but I ask this about the problem in the third step. Because if I start from the problem, most of the cases, they just name the symptoms. Or even they just name what irritates them. So if I go through the steps, I really can find the root cause of the problem. So do the steps and really write down the things helps me to define the problem. And when I have the problem with them, I can set a goal with the team. With the goal, then we can choose the metrics. So now the team can choose which metrics can help them to follow progress towards the goal. And another game changer question that I discovered with the team. How will you know if the things are better? Because first 5 questions, first 2, 3, 4, and 5 questions are more like not so personal. It can be like very vague. But the question, how will you know if things are better, is a game changer because then the people can think, okay, how I will recognize if something changed. And then we could discover a few times that, oh, we choose another wrong metric, or, oh, we choose wrong goal. Oh, our problem is somewhere else. So when I ask them, okay, how you will know if things change, it's a really powerful question. So that's the checkpoint for the first 5 points, and then we can come up with the improvements. So we try to not skip the steps. So, okay, what is wrong with this sprint, what you would like to do better, and that's all. No, we do the steps just to find real problem and to really help them, to make it useful for them, because then they are engaged and they have metrics that they can follow and metrics that they help them to be engaged. So then we implement improvements and monitor the metrics, because we looked for metrics, not that done, not done, but metrics that we can follow through the time. So thanks to that, how to keep it alive? We need to find our routine, and we tried 3 things through the lifetime of the team. First, retrospective. So bi-weekly, we had this meeting, and we just meet to talk about our problems and do what I showed you. And then once, in the beginning it was, my team proposed, okay, we really like retrospective because we focus on what is happening, but we also really would like to learn more about metrics, to learn more how to read charts, how to ask questions, because it was quite new for them. And they asked for additional meeting, bi-weekly, focus only on metrics, process metrics, product metrics, and other development metrics. So that was very great because they were interested, they requested for that. So we keep this meeting for half a year. And currently, our routine is Thursday daily. So we choose that on Thursday daily, we extend the time for a few minutes just to check the metrics at that day. So to not overwhelm people, but to adjust to their routine, what they like. So on the Thursday daily, we check our current metrics that are important for us to navigate towards our current goals. So that's our routine, and these routines can be more, but what is important, find your own routine. So finally, after all of these steps, we, with our team, we can run a marathon. And my team, my developers, architects, now they are able to navigate through the metrics by themselves. More, they can ask about these metrics if I forget and I don't bring anything through some time, because maybe I forget I'm somewhere else. So they really engaged and they really care because they feel benefits and they engaged because of these benefits. And final statement for you, because research shows that we can enjoy to learn almost anything. So if you have people that think that, oh, we hate working with data, or we hate retrospective, or we hate running, or we hate anything. So there is a good news. We can learn almost anything, but as long as progress comes in small, visible steps. So instead of run marathon when your team cannot even walk, you need to think about small progress in small, visible steps, but not for you, who try to teach others, but for people who would like to teach. So thanks to that, you can reach all of your goals. And remember, to build engagement, you need to build trust, keep it easy, and make it useful. Thank you very much. My name is Justyna Redzikowska. My friends call me Kęsik, and you can find me under this QR code, and I will be happy to connect with you and answer all of the questions around metrics and discuss in the future, because I love all of the topics that connect people, data, and processes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justyna. So we have one question in the event app. How would you approach introducing data to whole company? Let's say 30 teams. Would you change something in the approach?
Mm-hmm. To the whole team, I will go to the, oh my God, so many slides. Oh, here. For me, this is the basic for using any metrics. So if I work with for the whole company, I need to find people who want to use those metrics. So if directors want me to use some metrics, I have the meeting with them, because on a daily basis I work with metrics on different levels. And we try to name what is the purpose. And I had some fights also sometimes with managers or directors, because they just want to have simple numbers and simple answers. But I always try to go deeper and to find a real purpose. So when we find the real purpose, we can talk about the rest of the rules and find what really help us. And I always try to challenge them. Do you want to have numbers just to look good? So are you looking for vanity metrics? Or you really would like to improve and you are seek for metrics to improve? So first of all, I try to establish what is the real aim of the person or of the group of the people who request for the metrics. Just to not play two different games. So if we establish the rules of the game, and then we can play to the same, in Polish bramka, I don't know, in Czech this is the same, on the field in the piłka nożna, in the football.
Yeah, we call it the same.
Yes, but I forgot the whole question. You can repeat if I answered this all.
I think you kind of answered it. It was when you are implementing this to the whole company.
Implementing to the whole company. So for us, for example, because we use Jira, for example, but our stakeholders don't have access to Jira, because deviation in the huge company. So we built reports in Power BI, because Power BI is a tool accessible for the whole company. So not all of the metrics, but those metrics that we would like to show to the stakeholders are built there to make them visible for people that we would like to make them visible. So we are looking things to make it easy. And yeah, we are looking for this kind of the opportunities, but also we try to escape of the thing that we try to overwhelm people from the milliard of data. We just would like to choose what is impactful, and the rule number 12, try something else. It means that we shouldn't keep the data, one type of the data for the whole life cycle of the team, right? Because we stop keeping focus. It's something what we just, it's like this, and we don't play with this anymore. And another, delight all stakeholders. It's also an important point for me, because it means that we should think from different perspectives. So if I choose the metric with my team, on the team level, I don't want to only have metrics dedicated to process. I, in the same time, would like to have some quality metrics, product metrics, because if I have only process metrics, I can just try to make things fast, but I can forget about quality or forget about usefulness for the end user, right? So the same on the director level. I need to find different perspectives and find impactful metric, but metric, we should own our metric. So if they would like to see the things, I would like to choose things that they can really work on them and improve. Different situation when they would like to see the healthy of the team. But there is plenty of questions. We can go really deep. In management, I don't have the link here, but it's also the page with 40 plus metrics for software teams. And in this, under this word, you can find plenty of metrics. So it's always start with why, to understand what is the reason why the person asks you or group of people ask you to do this. So it can be full the same metrics for the whole company, but I don't believe that the same part of the metrics for the whole company totally cover what is important also for the team.
Thank you. Another question, how big is your team and what are the 3 most useful metrics you use?
3 the most useful metrics. Try something else. So it depends on the time. It depends where we are currently. So I can answer this question differently today, differently half a year ago, and differently 1 year ago, right? So if you would like to follow the same metrics, I don't recommend this, because it always starts with why, what you would like to improve. For example, I have the second team currently, and I will be leaving them in the end of the year, this architects team. They build integrations for, they build architecture for integrations. And they were the bottleneck for the rest of the company. So the most important thing there was to measure cycle time and throughput, because that was the pain point for the company, and we started from this. And also we started to counting different things that are important from their perspective. So they said that it's not their fault, of course, because we are starting from blaming each other when we don't have the trust. And we start from counting how much time the task spends in different stages. So it's not that we are preparing the solution, architecture solution, so long time, but most of the time we are dealing with stakeholders to collect the requirements. So we start collecting the data, showing how much time, percentage we spent on different stages to show where is the problem, and then to start cooperation better with the requester that the main problem is there to improve this cycle time. So, but it was adjusted to this team that I was involved in last half a year.
Thank you. Very last question. There are more. We don't have time for them all, so please, if you want to reach out to Justyna, she will be here. What do you wish you knew when you were starting to work as a Scrum Master?
That's the tough question.
It is.
You kill me. I don't know what I wish to know. You know, it's the never-ending story. Each day I learn new things, and when I started, I thought that I knew a lot of things, but then I realized I made mistake, and then I learn on mistakes. So What I wish to know, I think it's not connected to be Scrum Master, it's more connected to be a human. I wish to be less afraid about people above me, because when I was younger, I believed that people that are older or hierarchically higher, that are more smarter than me. And so I treated them as the alpha and omega person, and I should treat them as partners and just to have better conversation with them, because then we can find the better solutions, just to having two different perspectives. So if I could change something when I started, so to talk differently with people above me.
I think that's a very good response. Okay, thank you, Justyna, and feel free to reach out to her. She will be here for the rest of the day, or?
Yes.
Mostly, yes.
Well, yes, I will be there. I need to work, so but I will be there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.